It's Rachel from All About the House. If we haven't met before, I have an Etsy shop where I sell digital products. I also have a sister who has an Etsy shop and she sells physical products, so the type that you can actually hold in your hand. So that's the reason I'm recording this video tutorial, is to run you through the shop inventory spreadsheets which I've created to manage my own shop and which I also created to help my sister manage hers. So what you'll get is an Excel file, and within that Excel file is a whole bunch of tabs with various spreadsheets to keep track of your inventory, your finished goods, your materials, things you need to purchase that you're running low on, if you're selling to retailers, a wholesale list, basically everything to do with managing your products. I do have other spreadsheets for tracking your income and expenses, and also a pricing calculator, and I'll include links below to where you can find out more about those if you're interested. So you will need Microsoft Excel to use these spreadsheets, or you can also use Google Docs, which is a free online tool. It's basically like Excel. I believe they will work in Numbers for Mac, but I don't have a Mac, so I can't test this to guarantee that they will actually work in that program. Alright, so let's go through each tab real quick. So the first one that we have is the product list template. So in here you will add in all of your products. So this spreadsheet's really great if you have a lot of similar products of the same type. So I have over 400 planner sticker designs, so I really needed a list to keep track of that. So basically what I do is put in the category. So I also sell invitations, so I'd have invitation here, I'd have planner stickers, list all of your product types, then the product name, the SKU code, so that's the unique product identifier code. I typically use the first couple of letters of that category. So for this example, invitation, the code's INV and then 001. So the first invitation that I would create, I would give this number. The next one would be INV-002, and that's basically how an SKU code works. Each product should have a different SKU code, and basically the main benefit is that if a customer says, you know, I want a blue washi tape, and then you go, okay, which one? I've got like 20 different types of them. Then they can go, okay, the SKU code is this, and you know exactly which product they're referring to. So it saves a lot of emails back and forth, and it's also good for your own internal purposes for keeping track of inventory. And if you're going to sell to retailers, you're going to look a bit unprofessional if you don't have an SKU code, because that's what they will expect when they're ordering. You don't want it to be a hassle for people to buy from you. Make it really easy for them to purchase from you, and one of the ways you do that is to do SKU codes. So if you hover your mouse over any of these cells that have a little red triangle, so any one of these up here, they're just some comments if you want some more help about how to use the spreadsheets as you're going along. In addition to this video, I've got basically the instructions which I'm walking you through here on the spreadsheet as well, and they will always be on the spreadsheet when you're using them, so you can refer to them instead of coming back to this video. So in here we put the cost price, then the retail price, and the customization fee. So I do offer customization for some of the products in my shop. So if someone goes, I like those binder covers that you sell, but I want them in this pattern, I can go, okay, look at my list. The customization fee for that is $5, and then I can just tell them that's how much it's going to cost. So the reason you would record the customization fee is if you're getting a lot of custom orders, you don't have to sit there and manually calculate, okay, it's going to take me half an hour to do this, so I need to charge X amount, and then I need to package that order. You can just calculate it once, input the customization fee, and then you know exactly how much it's going to cost, so it'll save you a lot of time in the long run. You obviously only need to fill this column out if you are offering customization. If you don't need that column, you can just leave it blank. Then there's also the notes section if you want to add your own text. One thing to note, if you're adding a fair bit of text, make sure you go to the Home tab and hit Wrap Text, and that will include all of your text, like you'll put it on a new line if need be. So if we go type here, and we just keep typing a bunch of text, because we've hit Wrap Text, you'll see that the row width will automatically adjust to suit all of our text. So when you hit the Wrap Text, and you can align it to the left as well if you want to. Next thing is the quick reference. So in here, if you've got a lot of different types of product categories, this is where you would include them. So when you're adding in your products over here, we've got the quick reference code. If you click these little drop down arrows, I've put filters on these cells. So if you only wanted to, for example, see all of the products in the invitations category, you would untick this select all, and then you would just tick the beside invitation, and any products that are in the category of invitation will now show up here. So that's really good if you want to just filter one product type. If a customer or retailer is only interested in one of your product types, you can filter it before you send it to them. So filters are really good that way. Next one is the product list photo version. So basically it's this exact same spreadsheet with an extra column where you can add in a photo. So you would just click in this cell here, go to insert picture, and then locate the file on your computer. And then you'll just need to shrink it down to size. So just click on one of the corners and drag inwards so that it fits within this little box here. And then you would add in the same info as before. So this one's really good if you've got lots of products that are similar. So you can add in your pictures, and it's way easier to track which products are what, rather than remembering like 500 different SKU codes if you have a lot of products. The next tab is the service list. So you may or may not offer services. If you have a whole bunch of different ones with like shop coaching, then that's what you would use this list for. You might also offer, for example, if you were offering printed planners, you might offer a lamination, like laminating their planner cover or something like that. You can put that in this service list here, or if you offer gift wrapping, that's where you could put it in this section here. The next one is the wholesale product list. So this one is basically what you would send to retailers. So if you just wanted to send them this spreadsheet, or you want to split up this spreadsheet so all of the tabs are in different Excel files, you would just right click and choose move or copy, and then click create a copy, and then this little drop down arrow here, choose new book, and then hit OK. And then it will create a new Excel file with only that tab. So this is now in a whole separate Excel file. You can rename that and call it whatever you want. So it might be Shop Catalog 2016 or Holiday Catalog, etc. Before you start making changes to the templates, you'll probably want to save the original version just as a blank, which you can reuse each year, or you could just keep just keep using the same spreadsheet year after year. It's up to you how you want to use them, whatever works best for your business. So this one is similar to the product list template. It's got the photo category, the product name, etc. But where it differs is we've got the quantity in stock. So if you're sending this out to a retailer and they want to know how much they can purchase, you go, okay, I've got 500 in stock. Now the retail price is $50, so that's how much they need to sell it for. And the wholesale price is going to cost $25 each. If you were selling, for example, fabric, you could change this so that the unit of measurement or metric or whatever you want to call it is in yardage. You might also have liters, or you might do like 1 cup of confetti. Whatever sort of unit of measurement you want to use, you can put that in there. And then there's also the minimum order quantity that they must, so they have to purchase 20 or more for this example. And then there's a bulk order quantity, so if they order 50 units, then it's going to reduce the price, etc. So that's how you would use this spreadsheet. If you don't need some of these columns, you can left click up the top here, see where it goes orange, the cell's orange up here, and there's a drop down arrow. Left click and drag, and you can then right click and delete these columns, or you can just hide them if you want to. If you're going to send this out to a retailer, I would delete them. If it's just for your own use and you don't want to use those columns, you can just hide them if you want. And now those cells are still there, but you're not going to see them. So if you do want to come back later on, you would just left click to highlight. We can see that there's hidden cells because it goes from N to Q, it's not alphabetical. You would then right click and go on hide. Alright, next spreadsheet is the cost of goods sold. Now don't be intimidated, I know this is a rather large spreadsheet with a lot of columns. Don't be intimidated, it's actually super simple. Just go through each column line by line. Don't be overwhelmed. So the first one is the category, just like before, item name, SKU, and then we go into the different materials. So if you were selling like jewelry, you could do different copies of this spreadsheet. You could do one for necklaces if you wanted to, or if you were selling like jewelry and clothing, you had lots of different types of products, then you could create copies because you can click in here and put in your own materials. So if you were doing jewelry, you might have the jewelry wire, you might have the beads, the clasp. But if you were selling clothing, obviously you'd have very different materials. So you can rename these whatever you want. So we might call this beads, etc. You can do each of your materials. Like before, you can delete if you don't need 6 materials. If you need more than 6, you can create copy. So just click on that cell, right click copy, and then right click insert copied cells. and then you can just keep adding in as many as you need for as many materials that you have. So in here you would put the cost of each material. So if the beads for this bracelet are $10, you put $10 in here. Pretty self-explanatory. So then this will total up the total product cost. So this has automatically got the formulas set up for you, so all you need to do is input your data. Just be really careful that you don't override the formulas that are already in this template, because it can result in an inaccurate dollar value. So just make sure that you check them or don't override them, and you'll be good to go. So this one just totals up all of your material costs. So the total cost to make this bracelet is going to cost $17 based on the examples that I've just put in here. The labor to make, you would enter this in decimals, so for half an hour it would be 0.5. If you want to pay yourself $20 or you're paying an employee $20, that's what you put in there. So the total labor cost is going to be $10. Now, one good thing is to put in the employee or whoever made that product. So if you're doing like quality control, or you wanted to see how much productive your employees are, so if you're going to give like a bonus or a special reward or incentive to employees that work really hard, you can track how much they have created, how many products, or how many they're outputting for their hours worked. So if they're lagging behind everyone else, if they're a bit too slow, that's what you would use this to track for. And just like with all of the spreadsheets, you can filter, so you can hide everything and only see everything that that employee has made, and it will filter out every single other cell, so you can just look at that data. So I really love filtering. It's really good, especially when you have a lot of products and there's just lines and lines of stuff. You can filter it out and see exactly what you need to see really quickly. So then this will give you the total product cost excluding shipping. So that's your materials plus your labor. So again, that's a formula that will automatically calculate. If you do override any of the formulas, you can click lower down in the column. So we see that this is blank here, and go Control C and then click in the cell where you've overridden the formula and press Control V, and it will fix it for you. Or you can just save an original copy before you start entering in things, and refer back to that with what the formulas should be as well. So then we've got our packaging cost, the standard cost of shipping, and then there's also tracking. If you're going to offer that as an optional extra, then you can put that in there. I know some shops include it by default, some don't. It's up to you. And then if you want to do express shipping, that's the surcharge, and an extra for international shipping. So this one's just your domestic shipping costs. Now, I know that shipping can vary a lot for different countries, and it's really hard to calculate what shipping cost to charge. In here, I recommend putting an average cost. On some things you'll end up paying more, on some things you'll end up paying less. It's just impossible to have 50 different types of countries and their exact dollar values. So just go with an average, and then you'll win some, you'll lose some, will average out to be what it should be anyway. And then that will give you the total shipping cost. So that's another formula that will automatically calculate the total of these cells here. So if you wanted to, for example, offer free shipping, then that's what this is a really good column for. It will tell you the total cost including shipping. So that's your materials, your labor, your packaging, and your shipping costs. So if you want to offer a free shipping promotion, you know that it's going to cost $82 all up. So you might want to sell it for like $90, so you get a bit of profit, and then you cover your shipping cost as well. So this is basically your cost price. Okay, so the next one is the pricing worksheet. Now, this one is basically similar to the individual pricing worksheet, which is another spreadsheet that I have. I'll include a link below this video if you're interested. And basically you work up a cost for that product, very similar to this spreadsheet here, not quite as detailed. We've just got one column for the materials. So not like this one where we actually detail out every single material. So if you need something super detailed, use this one. If you don't need one that's quite as detailed, then use this spreadsheet. Again, it's got the labor, packaging. This one also has a customization fee, and then the wholesale markup. So if you want to do a 50% markup, that means you're going to need to sell it for this amount. And if you want to do a wholesale markup, wholesale price will be this amount. If you want to do a retail markup, you can enter in whatever percentage that you want. Typically, wholesale will be 50% on top of the cost price, and retail will be 100%. You can put in whatever percentages that you want. That's just a guide. The standard, you can put whatever you would like. and then that will calculate your retail price, your shipping costs. So if you want to offer free shipping, then that's how much you would need to charge. You can add any notes that you want, so you might put, okay, this is what you priced it at because that's the market price, or you might have done put a note where it's this product's part of a bundle, or you do buy one get one free offers for this one, or whatever notes that you want to put in there. If you're going to be writing multiple lines of text, just go to the Home tab and make sure that wrap text is hit. I'm pretty sure I set that up as a default for most cells, but if I haven't, just hit wrap text, and when you write a lot of text, it will automatically push things to the next line, so we'll increase the row width of the cell. So if we type a bunch of text and then click this here, and it will automatically increase the width. So this is now wider than this one. So wrap text is the tool that will do that for you. So the next spreadsheet that we have is the market pricing spreadsheet. So this one is basically for competitive pricing. So I tend to use this one more than my sister does because I do digital products. This one's really good for that. You can also do it for physical products as well. So it works for any product type really. So what I do is put in the same details as before, category, product name, and my SKU code, and then I compare it to different shops. So if I know that everyone is selling, for example, a single planner printable page for $5, then that's what I can calculate here. So I take a representative sample of the market, so pick a couple of shops and input their prices. So if someone's selling it for $3, someone's selling it for $3.50, someone's doing $4, and someone else is doing $5, it will calculate the average price. So when I'm pricing, I like to be in the middle range. I never like to be too low because people will perceive your product as cheap, and you never want to be too high because people will feel like they're being ripped off. You always want to price your product somewhere in the middle, and that's what this spreadsheet will calculate for you. You can compare more than 4 shops if you want. To add a column, just click up the top here, right click copy, and then anywhere up the top here, just go right click insert copied cells, and you can compare even more shops as well. So if you have absolutely no clue about what price to charge, or you're just starting out on Etsy, this spreadsheet is really handy for that. Once you get the hang of what the market is typically priced at, you probably won't need to use this spreadsheet as much. The next one is the inventory. So this one, like with the product list, we have both a photo version and a version that doesn't include photos. So it's up to you which one you want to use. So this one is similar to the product list, only we go into more detail, and it's for your materials. So your product list is basically your finished products, but your inventory are the materials and the supplies that you use to create those finished products. So that's what you would record in here. So in here you would do the product that it relates to, or you could do, if you have a lot of products, you might have separate SKU codes. So you'd have one for the finished products, you'd also have one for your inventory. It really depends how many products you have. If you've got like 1,000 products, you would definitely need to be that detailed. If you only sell like 20 or 50, you really probably won't need to be that detailed. So in here you can record any details such as the color, size, material, or any other info that you want to put in here. And then I like to include the supplier. So my sister really likes this spreadsheet for her physical products because she purchases them from like wholesalers. So then in here she enters in the supplier name, the email address, and usually that's all you need. If you want to put in the phone number as well, basically anything that you would need to make an order. So when you're running low on something, you can look at this spreadsheet, you know exactly who you need to contact to order more. You're not running around going, oh, I can't remember which place I purchased this stock from, and you obviously need it now, so you're in a rush, and then you're trying to do research, and it's just like, no, just put it all here, and it's just easy, quick glance, send them an email, hey, I need 20 more of this, done. And you can just go back to running your business. You're not wasting time. The info is right there, front and center, all in one convenient place. Then, so I created this one specifically for my sister. I don't need it for my digital products. This one is for physical products business. She puts in the date that she ordered it and the date she actually received it. So we live in Australia. Pretty much you can't buy anything wholesale in Australia. It all has to come from overseas. So that's why we always have a date received column. Sometimes if things are sent by certain shipping carriers, it can take a couple of weeks. Sometimes it'll only take a week. You really need to record it to make sure that you're actually receiving, especially if you're purchasing a high volume of stock. It can be hard to keep track of it all, so that's why we have this column here. and then the quantity that you purchased, so for your restocking, the unit price and shipping. So this is the total cost that you paid for that order. It's super important that you include the cost of shipping, not just the price per unit, because you are having to pay for shipping. That is part of the cost of purchasing that inventory. So you want to make sure that you're accounting for it so that you would then accordingly charge enough to cover all of your costs. You're actually making a profit. So that's the total that you paid for that stock. So then this will calculate the price per item. So if you ordered 50 at $4, the price that you actually paid was $4.60 when you include shipping. So again, these are all automatic formulas, they'll do it all for you. Then you can keep track of how many you've used. So if you're making jewelry, you might have used 20 beads and you might have sold 10, and it will calculate how much you still have left in stock. And one of the cool things that I did is set up conditional formatting. So that means that in Excel, if this comes below 10 unit of 10, it will show in red. So that means it's like alert, you need to reorder. So it's kind of like a reminder. So your stock's running low, you need to reorder that product. So that's what this will do. It will automatically calculate it for you. If you're a bit of an Excel whiz, you can increase that or decrease it depending on your volume that you use. So if you've got 100 in stock and you use like 50 each time you make a product, you might want to reduce that to a lower number. So I'll leave that one up to you. If you want to tweak it, you can. This one is just the same as this spreadsheet here, only it doesn't have the photos column. So same thing, it's got that nice conditional formatting again. That one has been really handy for my sister's shop. She would run out of things and then it's really awkward to tell the customer, yeah, actually, I know you've paid for it and I know you need it ASAP, but I don't actually have that in stock and it's going to take like 2 weeks to arrive. The customer's going to get pissed off. You look unprofessional. It's kind of embarrassing. So that's definitely something you want to keep track of. Alright, the next one is the product restocks tab. So this one is similar to this one here where we have the supplier, etc., only we go into more detail. So we've got the category, the name, the SKU, etc., and then we've got the first time you ordered from that supplier, and then you've got the date that you received it and the invoice for that order. The next column I added was one where you can file the receipt and update your inventory. So when you've purchased the items, you want to scan a copy of that receipt or whatever filing system you want to use. So when it comes time for tax time, you've got it all there ready to go. You want to file as you go throughout the year. Do not leave it until the end of the year. It's so much easier if you just sit down once a week, file all your receipts and update all of your books rather than it being an absolute nightmare at tax time, and you're likely to miss out on tax deductions, and it's going to take way longer than if you just do it as you go. It's way quicker, and then tax time comes and everything's already done and it's ready to go. You're not having to sit there and spend hours getting your records up to date. So then this one is, so this is your first time you ordered from them, and then we've got the next time, and then when you keep reordering, etc., it's just like a running list. You can add more columns. Again, just highlight, left click and drag, right click copy, and then you would go up the top here, right click, insert copied cells, and you can just keep doing that each time you have restocked from that supplier. So that's also a good way to track when you've actually received products or not, and to make sure that your bookkeeping is staying up to date. The next one is the to order list. So this one is when you come to this tab here and it gives you this alert that your stock is running low. That's when you would come to this order list and you would note it in here. So you can put all of the products that you need to order, and then once a week sit down, send emails off to your suppliers or place your orders of whatever you need, and you can record it all in here at once. So when you've got everything all in one place, it makes things so much quicker and more efficient than if you've got information here, there, and everywhere. It's just disorganized, it's time consuming, and it takes longer than if you keep everything all in the nice, neat one place that you know this is where I need to go. You're not looking at scrap bits of paper everywhere. Yes, I've been there, it doesn't work, it's a waste of time. Make sure you keep everything in one place, and that's what this sheet is designed to do, so you can keep track of everything that you need to order. It's like a shopping list. The next one is the product analysis tab. So this one is basically to track the performance of your products. So there's no point in spending a lot of time creating a product or marketing a product if it's a shit product that's not selling. I'm just going to say it now. Not every product that you make is going to be a bestseller. Some of them are going to epically fail. I have like 800 products listed in my shop, and I have another 100 which basically never sold. So you're never going to just make a product and it be a bestseller. You might make some and they're going to flop. Some will be a bestseller. This is what this spreadsheet has been designed for. So you can keep track of how many you've sold and the sale price. So if it's a product that you're selling like 100 of and you've got a really good product markup on it, so that's why we put the cost price in here, then you can see how much profit you've made. So this one is a killer product, so then you obviously want to make more of that. And then you can see this one, I'm not really selling that much and I'm not making that much profit. I only make $3 each time it sells, so I probably shouldn't waste my time on that product. So this is a really good spreadsheet, so you can strategically determine which product you should actually continue with and which ones that you should discontinue or get rid of, or that you need to increase your price if you're not making much of a profit. The next one is the renewed listing. So this one's another product analysis type tab. So this one's really good if you're not sure what price to charge. If you're considering discontinuing a product, we can go deeper into the analysis. So in here we can see how many sold, when you renewed it again, what the price was and how many you sold at that price point. So you can track over time. So let's say it was originally listed at $25, you didn't sell any, so you renewed it again, and this is when you renewed it, so you can track it. So if you sold, for example, 3 and it was the Christmas holiday season, keep in mind that that might cause a spark or a tweak in your data, and that's why we track the date, so we can actually get an informed decision of what's happening. Next time you renewed it, you dropped the price again to 22 and you sold some more, so we may be getting closer to the sweet spot for pricing. You renewed it again, you dropped the price again and you sold more, but again it wasn't too much. So this is the point where you go, okay, do I either need to reduce the price again? Do I need to stop selling the product? Do I need to purchase cheaper materials to reduce the cost price? Do I need to increase the perceived value, etc.? So that's where you can record any notes in here. You obviously don't need to wait until the 4th time you've renewed it, because that will have been like over a year, because Etsy listings last for 4 months. You might want to do this after the first one, just to have a squiz. I don't recommend putting all of your products in here. I would just put in the ones that are, say, the products that you're thinking about cutting, or your like problem products, the ones that you think you've done everything right, but for some reason they're just not selling. So this helps you analyze where you can make changes, establish price sensitivity, if it's seasonal based on what date it's sold. If it's a popular product that you're selling a lot of, then you can go, okay, so that is a good price for it. I'm selling quite a lot, so that's the price that I should stick to. So basically, it's an analysis if you need a little bit of extra detail, rather than you sitting there going, you know what, I'm not sure if I should discontinue this product, and you're not actually making an informed decision. You're just going, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. This will actually give you proper data so you can make a proper informed decision. So that's basically all of the spreadsheets included in the inventory management one. So we've got the product list, the service list, the wholesale product list, cost of goods sold, pricing worksheet, a pricing worksheet based on market pricing, inventory with photos and without, product restocks, your to order list, which is like your shopping list, and then your product analysis and your renewed listings. So that's a ton of spreadsheets included in this bundle. You can duplicate them and move them into different Excel workbooks if you want to. You can add your own pictures. You can update it with all of your text. You can totally customize them for your shop. You set it up once and then you can just keep using them again and again. You do really need to be tracking inventory, your costs, to make sure that you're actually making a proper profit, and that it's actually a profitable business that's worthwhile. So that's what these spreadsheets are for. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any more questions about how to use these spreadsheets, you have a suggestion, you have a comment, you want to get a custom spreadsheet made or anything like that, just send me an email at allabouthehouseetsy@gmail.com, or you can send me a convo via my Etsy shop. I'll include a link below, and I'll also include a link below to where you can purchase these spreadsheets if you're interested in using them for your own Etsy shop or your other online business if you're selling on your own website as well as Etsy. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and thanks for watching.